Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful Wednesday evening, the eve of Thanksgiving, and to Sandra Herrick and I, and Looking Deeper. Hey, Sandy Herrick, how are you?
Well, I'm fine, Dana. How are you?
Hanging in there. It's a busy time of the year.
All. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
We're hanging back in there.
Exactly.
It's pretty radical, and I'm glad we got together tonight. I know that it's a big eve before the big Christmas Eve, but it's the initiation of these festive harvest winter seasons. We're going in, going deep, going cozy for the northern hemisphere of the world. Is definitely it's very emotional for me. It's very deep, and it brings another emotion to my whole mindset. How about for you?
Oh, it does. And you and I have done the Thanksgiving Eve show for 12 years now.
Good Lord.
I don't think that we've missed one.
I missed last year.
You did?
I don't know. Was it Thanksgiving? I know I missed something. Twin Bobby was very, very sick. I had to take him to the hospital, and I just spaced out the whole shebang. So, but no, we've been doing together for a long time.
We have, and here we are again. And tonight we're going to be talking about celebrating gratitude. And at first, I'd like to welcome everybody who is in the chat room already. Carla Joe and Jessica Clark, and all of you who will be joining us in the chat room. Please know that it is open, and you are most welcome to join us in chat or to simply relax and kick back wherever you happen to be around Grandmother Earth. And for those of you that are in Spreaker, if you would do us the favor of following the Temple Within Radio and also hitting the like button, that would be great, because that allows Sandy and I to be able to distribute our podcast to every new podcast stream that comes out. So as the numbers go up, so do our opportunities to share the show. So thank you, everybody, for that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Sandy, we talked about, what we wanted to discuss and banter about this evening, and you chose this subject matter.
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's so much hardship out there. There's so much change. There's so much chaos. There's so much challenge. There's nothing normal. And here we come into this deep time of gathering, and I feel that there is a gratitude that's kind of shifting inside me, rather than feeling like, oh my God, I can't do what I want. Oh my God, I'm going to miss out on the love, or where's mine? The gratitude for me is, how am I going to be grateful that I'm safe? How am I choosing to be grateful that we are looking at how to keep each other safe? How am I grateful that people, my family, my husband, got COVID while fighting leukemia, and he's alive? Your husband has been challenged physically, your family. This is like some kind of a global consciousness of humility, or of coming into this place of, instead of, am I grateful I have so much, or am I grateful, what am I grateful for? What makes me grateful?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the question. I'm not going to preach to anybody about how they're supposed to be, but I'm certainly wondering how they can, so that in this sorrow, or in this incredible challenge, how to come out of the depression that I'm finding so many people in. Are you not finding people that are severely depressed?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I know a lot of people that are missing family, that are missing friends, that are missing human touch. And that's compounded by the anxiety of, oh my God, what can happen next? What next? What is the shoe that's going to fall next?
Exactly.
And having a discussion about really looking deeper to find the places of gratitude, I think is a great topic. I was really happy that you decided on it, because sometimes we do have to look a little deeper, and sometimes we have to look for the things that are a little more simple than perhaps we were expecting or we anticipate. Sometimes, as the Grinch says, it isn't about the wrapping and the bows. It's not about the packaging. It's about something deeper.
So there's that place inside me that is starting to go into the, how am I grateful that there's something simple I can appreciate?
Mm-hmm.
I think since COVID hit, there's that place of withdrawal from all our addictions or stimulation. And it does bring us to that place of, well, who am I really?
Mm-hmm.
What do I really? Can I exist without something, and can I be grateful for what I have, or can I be grateful for, it boils down to me, what is safe?
Mm-hmm.
How are we or any of us safe? And I want to extend this very, very tender moment, my heartfelt condolences to anyone that has been touched deeply with the loss of a loved one, or the challenge of a family member having COVID, or life, death. I've never been in a time where life and death has been so excruciatingly close to so many people.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's random. It's random. This is one of those things of, how does this happen? How did it happen? And right now I'm grateful that, first and foremost, Bobby survived, as he's still fighting his leukemia. But I'm also grateful for, there's that simple place of that, how do I understand to say thank you for the simplest things of, I can see the sun in the morning, and I get up and go out and see it. And I'm grateful that the sun is there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed the extreme sunrises and sunsets that we've been having?
They're extraordinary. I have. And what I've noticed for myself is out here in the Enchanted Forest, the stargazing is extraordinary. That space of land, between the house and the School of Sacred Studies at the top of the table there. Lily and Kelly called that their moon bathing area. They're in the cedars and
absolutely
right on that plateau right there. And it is extraordinary, and I can't tell you how many evenings in the past several months I've walked out and the skies are so crisp and clear, and all of the stars, they seem larger and brighter and more effervescent, and more than anything they seem more alive. They're not clouded by atmospheric pollution or the busyness of my life. They are clear and they're extraordinary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The deck, my space is the deck that the dog asks to go out at any hour of the night, and she wakes me up, and we go outside, and on that deck, I'm in that sacred space of looking straight up, the sky over New Hampshire, where the moon, the trees, the sound of the animals. I believe that because of our situation, obviously the pollution has lessened, the traffic and all that. So it's not. I can be grateful that. I want to say this. The other day, I started to realize I'm forgetting, not just because I'm getting older and all that stuff, but I'm forgetting what day it is. I'm forgetting what I got to do during the day. It's like all the days are running together, and it's like, what day? So my routine has stopped so that I don't have the clock that white man made. And it made sense to me. I have kind of gone back to the native way of time is of the moon and the sun. Time is of the season. And in Legends of the Fall, I'll never forget it when the Native American man said it was the time of the red grass. It wasn't fall at 12 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. It was the time of the red grass. And living out in Montana, I saw that red grass and know exactly what time it is. And now I'm feeling like I can hear the birds. I'm grateful I am hearing nature again. I'm grateful that I'm seeing nature again. The coyotes are wild. Something's organically kind of going back to where it needs to be, to almost like howl at us and make us feel grateful that we're here with it all.
Makes us feel alive.
Yeah.
If we choose.
If we choose. I mean, and this is an edgy line. I think we need to have gratitude for the fact that we have choice. And also, again, if and when we are in that moment of sorrow or in that place of challenge and regret and the why me and why now and all the loss, and you can't find gratitude, that's when the comfort of your bed or the comfort of your house or the comfort of being outside, how can we be grateful that we're not alone in spirit? And I feel a little challenged here, Dana, because it's like there are so many people that are starting to lose their homes or get, evicted, and are they eating? How can we talk to that and say, what are we grateful for?
Well, it is all about gratitude. And, earlier today on my Exploring Sacred radio show, I began the show with gratitude for all of the donors at Gathering Thunder Foundation, because to your point, even, late this afternoon, I was in communication with local Native American relatives, all of our relatives, that, monies are needed for COVID supplies, and also for Christmas dinners and Christmas gifts and all of these sorts of things. And so I began the show with a thank you to all of our donors and supporters and volunteers, because we were able again to assist those in need. So one of the things that I'm grateful for is the ability to be able to respond to the, call for help out at the Navajo Nation or the Great Sioux Nations, or here in Michigan, the Anishinaabe Nations, when they call and say we need help. We've been able to help. It's what I was doing late this afternoon. So being able to assist others, I think, is one of the greatest things that we can be thankful for. And we don't often think about being thankful for the ability to help others, but one of the greatest things that I've noticed about myself in my lifetime is that if I want to feel grateful for life, or if I want to pull myself out of my own despair, or I should say not despair, melancholy, for myself, volunteering, helping, making the phone call feels so good.
Yes.
And it makes me grateful that I have a voice, that I have the ability to reach out.
Yes.
And a desire to do that.
Right. When the gift of giving, to be grateful that you have the ability to give.
Yes.
And also, on the other side, to be grateful that you have the ability to ask for help.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that a little bit, because there's so much shame right now about, do we ask for help? What does help look like? Do we have the right to ask? Have we failed because we need help? And I want people to be able to feel grateful that they have a voice, and be grateful to ask. There are people willing to listen right now, very differently, I think, like you're saying, than ever before.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. And the shame that some people feel in asking, let alone receiving. Sometimes I think that perhaps one of the greatest gifts we can give another person is, the ability to say, it's okay and I see you, and how can I help you? I'm not a person that asks for help. It's extremely rare that I ask for help for a lot of different reasons. I have no problem asking for help for Gathering Thunder Foundation whatsoever.
Right.
But I know that there are some people around me that are always willing. If I say I need help, they're right there to help me. Why is it that you feel sometimes we're ashamed of asking for help, Sandy?
Well, that you have lost something, or that you would be judged for being seen as not being adequate or successful or loved or able to figure life out. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of shame equated to your identity, our identity, when it's like, did I figure life out? Am I successful? Did I achieve a certain prestige? Or do I comprehend how to really exist and manifest, or just get into life and live it?
Mm-hmm.
And that shame comes with when there's the humiliation of, are you who you thought you were going to be? Are you who you were told you had to be? Did you keep your idea of yourself, or did you fail that too? I mean, so many people that I work with are like, it's not what I expected or I hoped for. I'm surprised, I'm shocked, I didn't know. The simpleness of not knowing, and to be in the gratitude of, we can learn. I think one of the greatest harms is to think that we're supposed to know it all.
Mhm. I agree with that.
And it's not a shameful thing to, if you do fall down, to learn how to get up. I mean, right now with my ribs and all the things that are going on with me, I was a silly girl and got into the bathtub just not too long ago, and it was like, well, shit, how am I going to get out?
Oh, my. Oh, Sandy.
It was like, now, wait a minute.
Felt good getting in.
So for anybody who doesn't know, I fractured 11 ribs and then promptly broke 3. Major surgery, all this stuff. And you just don't function the way you think you're going to do it. And it was just one of those moments where I thought, well, it's been long enough, and hot bath's going to feel so good.
Oops.
Keep me spin around. I was grateful. There was a chair that was like, don't you fall. But I had to figure out how to get up out of the tub for the first time without, re-injuring myself. And it was like, well, this is a learning curve I didn't know I was ever going to have.
And you were real grateful for that cute little parlor chair next to your bathtub, weren't you?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. I love that little chair.
I used that. It was like, okay, I'm going to pull and you're going to stay there, right? So, yes, that is the blue little, it's from it must be from the 50s, if not the 40s. So there's that beauty of knowing that when I got out, I was grateful I just got out.
Uninjured, yeah, and didn't slip and fall after.
So, it is amazing how at each stage, how we age, the arrogance of thinking we'll be in forever does wane.
Oh, funny. Carla Jo is adding, many were told as children to hide any need we had from the neighbors. We were held to the standard of keeping up with the Joneses. Asking for help of any type is being less than.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's that sadness of then we can never really speak the truth.
Right.
And I'm grateful that we have right now a society that is willing to start speaking a truth. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm grateful that there are voices that women are finding, voices that men are finding, that allow humanity, hopefully, to start dialogue. To me, I'm grateful that we're about to have lots of different conversations about lots of different ways to stay in touch with each other. Mm-hmm. Zoom. I'm grateful for Zoom. Good Lord.
Me too. I'm very grateful for Zoom. I'm grateful for Spreaker to be able to stay in contact and continue this podcast with you.
Thank you.
After all of these years being in that gratitude, sometimes, when we're in the depths of having someone close to us ill, or particularly when somebody is ill and at a hospital and we're unable to visit with them, it can be hard to find anything to be grateful for. And sometimes I think it's okay to be in those moments where there just isn't a doggone thing that we can find to be grateful for. Because people can sometimes also feel shame, especially if they're on a spiritual path, quote unquote, that they're not feeling gratitude.
Right. I think you've hit a wild chord there with when I am pissed off, when I am kicking the stone, when I am saying, why me? And if anybody doesn't know, I've said it throughout my life on many occasions. And it is that challenge. It's that human challenge to the universe, to God, to spirit, to whatever it is, to my parents, to my family. It's whatever that challenge is that identifies my frustration or even my reality that I'm different and need to be understood, or different and need to find out how and where and why I am. And not necessarily where I fit in, but how do I accept myself? Truly accept and be grateful for who I am, rather than feel who I am as a hardship. Being who I am as a hardship. I mean, that's a radical case for a lot of us throughout time.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I like the thought or the understanding that it's okay to sometimes just feel like the world has just dumped a big load. And it's okay to be there for a minute, but as my sister Barbara Dolknife always says, if you sit on the pity pot too long, pretty soon you have a ring around your hind end. Right?
And it hurts to peel yourself off the pot.
Well, it really does. And she, she'll sit there for a minute and she'll call and preface our conversation with, Sister, I just want you to know I'm on the pity pot. And we'll talk about why she's there. No judgment. Why are you there? And she always ends the conversation, wraps it up with, now do you want to hear something good that happened?
Yes. Yes. Way back when I was doing some interactive work, way back in Santa Barbara, this would have been back in the 70s, and it was one of the first processes that I learned, and it was called, it was like a transaction therapy that we were doing. Excuse me, and it's called co-counseling. And the way that this teacher structured it is that you talked about small upsets, and you cliented, you talked, somebody listened, and then you talked about big upsets, and you could go for it. You could go in detail, you could go in length. Then you talked about looking forward to. So that there is that place of appreciation for I'm upset. I have some major stuff, but I'm also looking forward to. So the direction is not just in the pity pot, but it's like, oh yeah, I can be grateful that I'll be available to interact with someone later. I'll get through this. There's something happening that is coming to me, and I'm surprised it's going to be a surprise. There's so many ways of being able to hope, quote unquote, that wherever this hardness is or wherever this sorrow is, because time is perfect, it constantly changes. And time does bring change.
Mm-hmm. It does.
I was going to say, there's nothing more sorrowful. I had a client today, a woman who just lost her husband. And he literally dropped from a massive heart attack, and she was not home. And I'm going to say this in that way of, I'm sitting with her, we're on Zoom, I don't know her, I don't know her husband, and I'm grateful that in her heartache, in that sorrow, the love between the two of them stretched across, goosebumps are growing on me right now, stretched through something of time and space with, all of a sudden there he is in my office that you know very well, showing exactly what to say, and there she is. And the sparkle of life and awe of the love that in this moment of that man passing, there was such gratitude that the love did not disappear. That the love was as strong, if not stronger, because there it was, in detail, in contact, in so many ways. And I think where I'm going with this is spirit is so strong around us in so many ways. I'm grateful that it still surprises me, Dana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that I can be in my heartache, I can be with somebody's heartache, and when we shift that little dial, whether someone does it for me, you've done it for me, I've done it for you, where it's like, oh my God, wait a second, here's the shift, here's the love in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the touch from spirit. And spirit is grateful we're able to listen or see or wait until we can be connected to it again. That to me is some of the magic that happens when stuff like what we're going through right now. How do we reach across the divide? How do we, anybody that needs to be alone, I will be, that in that place of my memories of great Thanksgivings. I've been invited out, but there's this place that says, I don't want to die over turkey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that I can celebrate, but I'm also grateful that something else inside me is asking me about my peace. How am I peaceful? How do you feel when that gratitude brings peace to you?
Settled. And that's the word that I always think of when being grateful or understanding where the love is. Being able to find it, to mine it. Sometimes you really do have to mine it. You have to dig deep. I feel settled on the inside, and I feel settled in my soul. And that's peace. And I think for me, understanding the larger picture, and I think that comes with age a lot of times, and walking with spirit for 58 years now, deeply with spirit, we come to understand that to everything there is a season and a reason. And ultimately, when you can find peace in that, Kelly Spencer and I were having this great conversation about the fact that for me, in my Scorpio-ness, I kind of have this mantra. It all works out in the end. You've heard me say it a gazillion times. It all works out in the end. And ultimately, every little thing with patience and being awake and aware to time as it is in spirit rather than my own time as I want it to be.
Right.
And getting into that flow, there's a gratitude because it brings peace. And I'm grateful for any moment of peace that I can get. But remembering that everything does work out in the end. There is a reason that everything happens. I truly believe that.
I do too, Dana. And happy belated birthday. You are a little older.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
58.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's when I got my tattoo for my 58th birthday.
Yeah,
Lord.
I love it. And, that's one of the things I'm grateful for. After you have a massive left brain stroke and a brain bleed and a heart attack all within the span of 2 years, you're grateful for the fact that you can put two words together and they make sense.
Right.
That you can write your own name and you can get up and walk around the house and, whatever.
Right.
There's a new gratitude and an enhanced understanding that everything happens for a reason. And this ain't all there is to life.
Right.
So just enjoying what it is as it comes in increments. Yesterday I was sitting with Easton on my lap.
Ah, that boy is more than cute.
He is something else. And he and I have an agreement that when he's with me, he's on granny time.
A different frequency, is it?
Absolutely it is. And so he has the option of taking naps, sleeping on my lap.
Aww.
And if he's restless and he wants to be in his crib, I will put him in the crib. But yesterday, both of his naps took place on my lap.
Wow.
And I just sat there with that, understanding the beauty of the moment and the imprint of me upon him and him upon me, and actually just bathing in the gratitude of being given that moment, and hopefully many more moments like that.
Right.
And knowing that if there was not another day, as they say out in Indian country, hoka hey, it's a good day to die. Right. Some days are so exquisite and some moments are such perfection that if you passed away in that moment, your last breath would be one of gratitude for the moment that you just had. Does that make sense, Sant?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Moments are random. We're not guaranteed any of them. And so to be able to have the appreciation, and I want to tell you how deeply I appreciate so many of the pictures that you post of Easton with your foot.
Yeah.
In the corner, in the right-hand lower corner of the photograph.
Got to be able to catch him at a moment's notice. He's kind of wobbly. Yeah.
It's just too adorable. It's like he's out there, but you're right there, Mama.
That's right.
And it is that it's amazing to know that his time being young feels like forever right now.
Right.
And it's going to go by so fast.
So fast. Kelly Spencer's in the chat room and she's saying, one of my favorite posts I've read, be grateful for growing older. It is a gift not everyone gets to experience. And that's true.
This is true. Hi, Kelly. Happy new home, sweetheart.
Well, there's something to be grateful for. If anyone would have told me in 1977, 78, or 79 that in the year 2020, my bestie from childhood would be downstairs doing her Thanksgiving dinner cooking in my home because she's moving here, right?
Amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And don't you find that with relationships, at least for me, maybe it's not true for everyone, because I think one of the great things about COVID is that once again, it's given me anyway an appreciation, an added appreciation for the people in my life.
Yes. Yes. There's that that there's that simple thing where it's kind of honed down to who is in your life.
Bingo.
Are you even in your life?
Well, that question is being asked of many people. Where are you in your life? Now that you ain't busy, where are you in your life?
Exactly. And how do we, and it's interesting because I'm not the kind of person that just needs to be busy. I like to be busy. I love my solitude, or I love my coffee in the morning. It can take me all day to get out of bed. But there's that place where the inertia of creativity, when it stirs from some place like this, we're not the same from when it started. The way we see is different. The way we feel is different. The way we want to present ourselves. I mean, something for me in all this time is changing something so deeply cellular inside me. I'm actually discovering something that is making peace with me in a way that I'm not willing to ever let go of again. But it's in me differently.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in the rhythm of all the stuff that I was used to that would distract me from it or keep me from it or have me deny it or not even want it consciously or subconsciously.
Right.
Because it would have been almost too much pain to sit this still for this long. So let's talk about that for a second. What is for you to sit in the stillness of the moment?
Well, that's one of my favorite things to do. One of my very favorite things to do.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as you know, you and I are both very busy women in what it is that we do in teaching and facilitating and clients and writing and all of the million things that we do. But at the same time, my soul needs those moments of just everybody be quiet.
Right.
Including the voices in my head. Everybody be quiet. Spirit, be quiet. And I just need to sit and I need to reflect and I need to be. And I'm very much that way. I always have been that way. And, people will look at my quietness and think, is she upset? What did I do something? I'm actually a painfully shy human being that has moments of coming out and being engaging or what have you. But at the core of who I am incredibly shy. I wouldn't use the word withdrawn, but I would say shy and observant. And I like the place of observance rather than always participating. Make sense?
Absolutely. Because I have that same experience of where I'm shy or timid and people wouldn't necessarily know that of me. And I know I have an outgoing personality and a bravado. I'm sure nobody's ever noticed.
Never.
But there's that.
No. Todd's chuckling behind me. No, he never noticed either.
Thank you, Todd. So observant. Happy Thanksgiving, sweetheart.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It's that place, and well, then it's shocking enough to how would I describe or display my timidness, and it's that place of knowing that there's something inside me that isn't always on. There's that place inside me that has to reflect, has to go quiet, or has to kind of bow into not face it all directly, but be available to experience something quietly, to find me, to seep into me. And I think in that shyness that I have, something seeps into me, to me, from me. Maybe a safety, a yearning, just a vulnerability to soften with. And that vulnerability makes me a different person than always being in the bravado or strong or defiant or, the kid that lived close to New York with an attitude. So it's that place of knowing that vulnerability gives me credibility to even what I'm grateful for, because of that vulnerable spot, of that place that in my shyness, I hope for me. That's an interesting discovery that I just kind of said. In my shyness, that gives me the goosebumps for me, that I have a hope for me, that I can maybe survive.
Mm.
Wow. Well, we've all just shared a discovery of Sandy.
It was a good one.
Thank you very much.
It was a good one.
I worked that right on down to the bone.
You did. We felt it right here in the Enchanted Forest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So what does grace do for you tomorrow? I mean, you have a full house. You have people that are transitioning in life with new and old. You have a baby. I mean, so much in your life has happened this year. Good Lord. What are you grateful for this year? What's that? How will your table start your grace? May I ask? With a good glass of wine.
Well, yeah. And gratitude is, as bizarre as this is going to sound, but I'm just going to say it. All of us that claim to be light workers, healers, spiritual path walkers, we have a lot of names for ourselves, those of us that walk this path of earth and sky. And for many years, we've all been discussing this idea. If we hold the light long enough, is it going to make a difference? Are we ever going to ascend into something different? Is the page ever going to turn? You know what I'm saying? Is Aquarius really going to arrive? Or are we always going to be beholden to the Piscean dominance?
Or is it just a damn song from the 70s?
Exactly. Sandy, I'm grateful for the fact that all of us continue to shine the light, hold the wattage, believe and understand in something greater, tune into the frequency, keep doing what we're doing, keep on keeping on, and by golly, I believe that we in our humanity, as souls having a human experience, have actually held the light long enough to create a shift into higher consciousness globally.
You're preaching, right?
Am I?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'm preaching. I'm at the pulpit, and it feels good.
Yes.
I want to say congratulations, everybody, because whether you're finding gratitude in the darkness or holding the light,
exactly,
you did it, and it mattered.
Yes, and it kept its promise.
Bingo. I'm grateful for that.
Yes. It feels different already.
Yes. Yeah.
I heard God.
Yeah, he said an amen back there.
I heard him.
Yeah.
You can feel it. It's like the Piscean age is waning away.
Bye-bye. Yeah. So long.
I say it, but I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're thinking, because I probably am too. But the goddess has returned.
Yes. And what I am grateful for in everything that you're saying is how dark it gets before dawn.
Yes.
Treacherously dark. Fearfully dark.
Yes.
Openly dark. In that darkness where you think that dawn will never come, and will you ever wake up, and with it, do I have the right hope, or did I make it up? It's
right.
Just,
yeah.
And I want to be grateful for the grit and the might and the determination to not give up on the light in that darkness.
Amen.
Because it's dark.
Well, yeah. So I get really excited about this, the prophecies from a long time ago that said that this time would come. And there are many, many descriptions and names for this time. The return of Aquarius, the return of White Buffalo Calf Woman, Tesawi, the return of the 8th generation, the return of the 8th fire. All of these really just talking about the shift into balance of male and female.
Yes. Hallelujah.
And here we are. And you know what? It wasn't easy for those that were holding the wattage to hold it.
No. To light the flame, hold the flame, pass the torch, to discover the path, to hone the path, and to even die on the path so others can find their way.
Yes. Taking the leap of faith.
Yes.
Shining the light. Going through the dark night of the soul, collectively and personally and universally. And I really feel that we're on the precipice of something extraordinary. And even though right now we're all, dialed back in our expression of being together, I can feel it.
Oh, absolutely. I that part of the inertia of this withdrawal from life has made us all go into this incredible masculine feminine in ways that we are not allowed to just assume we can have our jive.
Yeah.
Something has tempered down something to go into the womb, to go into the cave, to go, it's that place of, okay, everybody, you're all insane, go home.
Right.
Give Mother Earth a chance to breathe.
Yes, I was having this.
Yeah,
I was having this great conversation with a class that I was teaching last week or facilitating, and the conversation came up about the old gods and the new gods, and the egregore of the current age, and the passing of the old gods and the birth of the new gods, so the birth and the death of the gods and the goddesses, and we were talking about this. And Mervyn Kelly, Nelly, over there in England, he chatted in something, and he said, the old gods and goddesses never die, they simply go to sleep.
Huh?
And at this time, they're all awakening again.
Ah.
And I had never heard it termed that way. They never die, they simply go to sleep. And they're reawakening right now. And that is the truth. The gods and the goddesses of old are reawakening just as we were told it would happen. And if the gods and the goddesses in mythology and in our communal belief systems and understandings of the workings of the universe are awakening out there, that means that the God and the goddess within us is awakening, and I'm grateful for that. And you and I both know that in order to give birth comes out of the darkness. The sun rises out of the great void of the Black Madonna, I think of it as, every morning. And so this black darkness void is actually the fertile soil of birth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And here we are.
I mean, I think humanity is crowning.
Yes.
To that birth. And I will honor, and I am grateful that there is a woman in the White House.
Do you think?
A black woman.
Yeah.
A gritty, street smart woman who will find her way. And I am grateful that there is a new way that male, female, I'm going to say it a different way. I am holding the torch inside myself for the feminine to no longer tolerate abuse. And that is something we all, as women, really need to start to honor in the fact that we do not need to tolerate it. We do not need to be obedient to it, and we do not need to go, oh, you were just doing what, and I'll be better. Or, I mean, that is a syndrome of femininity that has been in the Piscean age to the point where it broke the soul of so many women from being able to see their spirit really get out there and kick ass.
Yes.
And
yes.
This changes who Easton will be because of right now will be so different than if he were born 20 years ago. My niece now will see a woman in authority in a way I never did as a child growing up. That there's a gratitude in the tone. I like the tone of what this male and female are presenting.
Mm-hmm.
That tone is like a tuning fork that is starting to literally just go like a gong bass. It hits a note and it's coming. I am so weary from all the carnage
mm-hmm.
and the tone of the Piscean age.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that, not just what politically has happened, because I don't want that to feel judged. I want it to be known it's the end of a Piscean age, and it's perfect.
Yes.
It is it's perfect highlight of the Piscean age to bring the change.
Yes.
It's the epitome of the Piscean age, blatant in our face. And we as women are kind of like, that ain't a secret no more.
Yep. Yep. I've been accused in my lifetime, as you know, of being a feminist, so I try to keep it, toned down.
Don't.
Let her rip. So I love the idea that through this dark time, we've all been assisting in the birthing of more fully Aquarius. And that's not the removal of the male.
No.
It's the rightful balance of the male and the female, of the god and the goddess. And what a brilliant, glorious time that it is. And we're seeing it all around us in the shift outside of us, and perhaps the shift, within ourselves, hopefully, for many.
Well, Dana. So whatever it's going to be, it is already.
That's right.
So I think it's more than hope. It started.
That's
what
right.
we hope for is what will it be. But the inertia has started.
Yes. Yes.
And to all the men out there, I really want to have that honor and bow to what hardship it has been to be a man, to carry the burden of all the responsibility on so many levels that we're not allowed to have them show any crack or emotion or less than, and only achieve and only the. And now as the female, we become the partner.
Mm-hmm.
Equality.
Mm-hmm.
Not,
right.
Let's say, Carly Jo, you know things I'm going to say now, right?
Carla Jo is saying, I am strong, I am invincible, I am woman. Yeah, Carla Jo's on it.
Yes, girl, there's another song from the 70s. Yes.
Yeah.
I think a documentary or a program on Netflix. There's that beauty of knowing that we are not trying to take over men. I mean, please, I'm from the 60s when all this women's movement, it was like, what do you want to be? Like a man? You're this, you're that. It's like, no, I want to be a woman.
Right. And not somebody's mama.
Or maid.
Or maid. Right. How about being partners rather than because you're the woman, you're the maid?
Right. Or the Madonna.
Or the Madonna.
It's that image of knowing I can be feminine and strong. I can be feminine. And, I'm also a product of the 70s where never did we see so many divorces where women were left with the children and the men just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
To think that in the 70s, I have friends that had to work 2 or 3 jobs to feed the children, and the men were out just doing and the law supported it.
Yeah.
It was legal.
Mm-hmm.
If she went after the man and asked for money, it was like, oh, bitch, get back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was legal. So for now to, how are we taking responsibility for the family? What is no longer legal for a woman to be demised, deemed you get me talking.
That's a whole show in and of itself, isn't it, Sand?
That was something for me to shut up.
Uh-huh.
I was sitting back in 1970 for a minute, and I thought, I got a list. I sat with all those boys, bad, arrogant, entitled, the Piscean age in that masculinity, and I mean it, offered some entitlement, and I, as a woman, went along for it because it was like, I hope you see me, honey, and I made so many things. This is different.
Yes.
This is different.
Yes.
And so whatever this torch is inside me, whatever this light is, and I will be even more, vulnerable in saying horse medicine is what did this to me. This fall, breaking my ribs, breaking the cage karmically of something inside me has released something that almost has been in the Iron Maiden, Dana.
Oh.
For centuries.
I haven't heard that term in a long time, Iron Maiden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was nothing more shocking to my soul than walk down the streets of Geneva, Switzerland, and know that the cornerstone at the post office here's the site of the original torture chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that at the Carcassonne in France.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in Holland, they had the art. The torture was an art.
Yes.
And it was not exclusive. Women included, let's put it that way.
Right.
And so there is this karma from the horse medicine. Literally, why would I be on the tallest horse I've ever been on? A horsewoman for over 30 years. I never had not a fingernail. And that I'm not thrown to the ground. I'm just shifted to the ground.
Mm.
The horse didn't throw me. It just moved to the right, to the right, and I went down. And so whatever this Iron Maiden is that got broke, that had it's interesting because it's not about a key. It didn't have a key. It got broke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting. I'm having a moment. I was saying to my friend that was here with me while I was recovering, I said, I was struck by the eyes and the kindness of the surgeon that talked to me before he operated on me. I mean, I was mesmerized by everybody else around him kind of disappeared. He looked at me and something was like, oh my God, who are you? And when he did the surgery, when he talked to me afterwards, and when he validated that the next bone was broken and nobody knew it, and after he said goodbye to me this time, I was coming home and just said to my friend, that man imprinted my core. He put his hands in me. He had his hands next to my heart, to my lungs. He wanted to do it with tools, but the bone was so that he had to, instead of tear the muscle, he cut it and had to put his hands up inside me and pull my ribs down. And God bless you, Dana, for seeing in the dreams those plates.
Mm-hmm.
So God only knows what God brought to you to see about the Iron Maiden.
Right.
And I realized that this is not a man that made love to me, so it wasn't his penis inside of me. It wasn't his sperm. It wasn't something that was lovemaking. He put his hand into me and imprinted me with something that I saw in him that was kindness.
Mm.
And that he was going to grab me and put me back together.
Wow.
And he literally said, I couldn't get to you. I had to go in and grab the bone because it was nicking your lung and headed for your heart.
Mm. You were imprinted with a different kind of man.
Exactly, Dana. And capturing that moment, capturing that reality, and knowing that when I spoke to him last and he said, you're going to go home and you're going to heal. Call me if you need me. It was like, oh my God, you just changed my soul.
Yes.
And I did say to him when he honored me, and I am grateful, when he said we would not have found the broken bone. And there it is. I am grateful, and I said it to him. Do you know what it's like for a woman to have a man say, I'm describing to you exactly what's going on with me and not have it be denied?
Nice.
Or challenged.
Priceless.
It's like,
priceless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more needed so that we can hear each other, so that we're not accused of over-exaggerating. We're not being accused of being too needy. We're not being deemed as hormonal. We are experiencing ourselves, and our voices are able. I have the gratitude in this reflection of what we're going through to find the opportunity to speak from that place that says, I am telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went in a whole other direction, but there we are.
Well, we did. You know, it's about gratitude and celebrating gratitude and what we're grateful for. And every one of us has a different story and a different journey, and we find gratitude where we find it. Sometimes it finds us, and we think, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful. I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware. And the word gratitude and the thoughts of gratitude are so powerful.
Yeah. The gestures of gratitude.
Mm-hmm. I have this birthday card on, you know me, I love birthday cards. I'm a card person, so I love cards, and I have sitting here on my desk for a very special niece, and this is from my Aunt Gwen down in Hawkinsville.
Oh, wow.
And I just have it sitting here because I'm so grateful that at this time in my life I have an auntie down there in the deep south of Georgia that sent me a card, you know, for a very special niece. So I'm very grateful for that card, and I keep all the cards that people give me. I'm kind of a card hoarder. Well, I am a card hoarder, not kinda. I love cards. I don't know what that is about me. I guess maybe because I can go back and read them and be with that moment. But to sit here and to look at this card over and over again, it'll probably sit here for a great good long time. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that simple gesture.
Is this your second birthday being reclaimed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I'm belching up a storm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's gratitude. Sometimes it's in something like a Hallmark card. It's where you find it.
Right.
And where you can acknowledge it. And sometimes we have to be grateful for the things that we've let go of. And we have to be grateful when people and things were so harsh that it put us in a place of letting go.
Well, that's just it. When we brought to our knees to be grateful for, I'm down. I'm grateful that I was brought here to see how to get up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm grateful. I look at all of the beautiful souls that are in the chat room with us. I'm grateful for Carla Joe and and for Kelly and Jessica and Todd, and just on Wednesday evenings or Wednesday mornings getting together. I have gratitude for that.
Right.
Because the fact of the matter is that it's time. Time is precious.
Exactly.
And it may sound kitschy or, cheesy, but the fact that there are people that once a month on a Wednesday evening take of their time, that's a precious resource.
I thank you.
To sit with us for an hour is pretty doggone special, Sandy.
I concur.
Yeah.
I concur. It's a rarity to know that, and I'm grateful for the commitment that we make here.
Yeah.
It's the simplicity of something that is just a space that is held for us to fill, and we promise to fill the space, and then the space somehow magnetizes, and what gets attracted for me in the gratitude is that anybody would want to listen,
mm-hmm.
that there's a teaching, that there's a sharing,
yeah.
and the simplicity that there's even a joy that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Rely on it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And with that, everybody, we are at the top of the hour. And I think we're in the he-he-he-hoos, as they say in the delivery room, giving birth to something that I feel very grateful for, personally, planetarily, universally. It feels good, and I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that we all have the strength and the courage and the determination and the hope and keeping the faith.
Yes.
For this time to arrive.
Yes.
Pretty awesome. I'm thankful for you, Sandy Herrick.
Oh, Dana, I am so grateful for you. 12 years and counting, sweetheart.
Amen. With that, everybody, thank you for joining Sandy and I tonight. And
yes.
Thank you for the light that you shine, that you've been holding. And have a beautiful moment in time tomorrow on the Day of Thanks.
Eat a lot. Let them eat pie.
I love that. Good night, Sand.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Dana. Good night. Good night over there in Michigan, you happy people. God bless. Thank you.
Good night, Sand.